नहीं यार, you are using the device audio. Switch to ये तो तेज है पूरा. They can hear me. No, मुझे उसके
Hi, Seba. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Sir, you appears to be muted.
Appears to be muted.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the annual general meeting of the Human Export Network. This is our first virtual meeting, but I'm glad we could have it, and the idea came up that we could not postpone the annual general meeting because it's very possible to have a pretty decent meeting even by just speaking on the computer. What happened? Disconnected?
No.
Then mat karo, please. Yeah, I'll say a few words and maybe summarize a little bit of the last year, some of the highlights. But I want to be very brief because we are keeping time for the coordinators of all our offices to speak to you for a period of 3 minutes so that you get a sense of what is happening in faraway places of the country, right up to Arunachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir and so on. And we'll also want to keep the meeting for about a period of 1.5 hours at the maximum. This is the period of COVID. And it's been a terrible time for the country. It's been a terrible time for some of our colleagues. And it's also been a very difficult time for many of our friends who contacted the virus. But I must say, we are the only organization, I think, that kept its doors open every day of the year and carried on with work every day of the year. And right through the COVID period, from 9 o'clock in the morning to about 8 o'clock at night, you could see the advocates working in the various offices and bringing relief to people by going to court and arguing over the virtual system at a time when so many advocates had gone off from their courts and they were not available. So we are very proud of what you did. It was an amazing effort. There were problems. Some of us had difficult problems. But I must congratulate all of you for the heroic work that you did and the results that you produced, some of which, of course, you will speak today. We are giving all the coordinators 3 minutes to speak. Please stick to that 3 minutes so that, our trustees get a chance to hear everybody. And we all get a chance to hear what you're saying, but there'll be more meetings later. The virtual system allows us a great deal of flexibility in doing things. We have had some of our trustees, and we'll mention them when we are talking about our trustees, who have had many serious health issues. And we are so indebted to them because they just stood fast and helped us and stood by us at a time when it was so difficult to contact some of you. But our trustees, and I can see at least 3 of them who have health issues. I must say, it's been so heartwarming, and we are so grateful for the incredible contribution that you made to the organization. And I do hope when you hear all the speakers today that you also feel a sense of satisfaction that the organization is very alive and very active and is not compromising, COVID or no COVID, illness or no illness. We are sticking to our task, and we finished most of the project requirements. We will be introducing the new trustees, and you'll get to see some of the new trustees, and some of the trustees will be leaving us. And this is our first meeting without Justice Suresh. Oh my God, I can't imagine how many years it's been. I don't know if anybody remembers, maybe from the
99, sir.
from 90
99. She will be with us.
onwards. What a person, what a fighter, what an inspiring person. It's our first annual general body meeting without him. How he would sit through our annual general meetings, travel to the places, faraway places where we would meet, speak, listen, have a wry smile on his face most of the time. Love having young people gather around him at night after the sessions were over. We will really miss him. I will really miss him. The words will not convey, the kind of relationship he built with all of us. I want to just tell you quickly, and I'll stop. As far as the national organization is concerned, I want to talk of 3 outstanding cases that we did during the period of COVID. And the first was the railway line slums, where a bench of the Supreme Court hardly maybe a couple of months ago gave an order in a case where the slum dweller organizations were not party. It was a case relating to garbage along the railway tracks. And in that, one of the most sweeping and disastrous orders were made, asking the eviction of millions of slum dwellers who reside on the railway tracks throughout the country. It was an afterthought. It was not even part of the case. It was not even part of the pleading. And the Supreme Court is so powerful. It is so powerful. It can do good. It can do harm. Millions of slum dwellers were ordered to be evicted within a period of 4 weeks. And we went back to the court and we told the court, sir, please change your order. Please withdraw this order, because we were not heard. And there are judgments of the High Court, mainly Sudama Singh, which says that if you must evict, give people a rehabilitated site. And we are grateful because the court intervened and stayed the order and said, we look at this part of the order again. The second case was very similar, but for tribals, where once again, the same bench actually, a few months earlier, on the prompting of an environmental group, said all encroachers should be removed from forests. And tribals were characterized as encroachers. Millions of tribals were affected by that order, which was all being removed by the forest department. And once again, in a similar manner, we went back to the Supreme Court and said, sir, none of the tribal organizations were parties. Tribals are not encroachers. They are the original inhabitants of the land. Please stay this order, and that was stayed. And the last one, which was, I think, last week, where a bench of the High Court, headed by the Chief Justice, made a terrible order. You remember that during the COVID period, the Supreme Court said we must decongest our prisons because we can't have social distancing possible in prisons, that the prisons are overcrowded. Tihar, for example, is overcrowded to the extent of 150%. So social distancing is not possible. The spread of COVID is inevitable. And the Supreme Court gave a series of orders to decongest the prisons. Contrary to that, the High Court made an order asking for all these prisoners to surrender. And particularly in the first batch of surrendered prisoners, there would have been 26,000 prisoners surrendering and getting back into the Delhi jails, the 16 Delhi jails. And we challenged that in the Supreme Court, and that order was stayed until after Diwali, when the matter will be heard. And so these prisoners will spend, the prisoners spend Dussehra in jail, and the prisoners will, out of jail in their homes, and the prisoners will spend Diwali also with their families. This is just the tip of the iceberg, just to set things going. Saiba, the executive director, will take over and with the rest of the program. And I think it is beginning with the trustees saying a few words about themselves in a few minutes each. And then we go to the coordinators. Thank you very much. Thank you for attending. And I hope we have a very good annual general meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to the AGM. I would like to introduce our trustees, a quick name, and then and introduce them. We have with us our Vice Chairman, Advocate Dhareshil Patil, who has been with us for long. As we said, this is, as Sir has already mentioned, that we have about Justice Suresh. We've been missing him, and Sir has also been, Dhareshil Patil has also been a little unwell, and we thank him for joining us for this meeting after a long time. We've seen him.
Yeah, he has also been with us for about decades. Decades for now. Yes.
Yes. I remember him attending all our meetings, not only our board meetings, but all our other tribunal meetings and other meetings, and they're guiding us. We have with us Secretary to the Board, Ms. Hazel Dilema, who is also been very unwell. And thank you, ma'am, for being with us and taking out time to be with us. We have...
Hazel, can you put on your video so that people can see, if it's possible? Thank you, Hazel. Hazel was really so unwell. Nice to see you, Hazel.
We have Justice Deepak Verma with us, who's also been kind to join us for a meeting. He's been very busy. We've been struggling, sir. We need some time and appointment from you to meet you. If you kindly allow us to come and meet you, that's okay.
Yeah, Justice Verma was a former judge of the Supreme Court, and Dhareshil Patil is an eminent criminal lawyer, well-known criminal lawyer. And he was also the chairperson of the Bar Council of India.
Oh.
We have with us Professor Anuradha Chinoy. Ma'am, thank you for being with us. She's also one of the person who's been very unwell for long, and she graced us by being on this occasion. We have Mr. Raj.
The Dean of the School of International Studies, JNU. And her health is not permitting her to carry on. But she made a heroic attempt to come here today and say hello. And we may not see her in future, but we owe you a lot, Anuradha. Thank you very much for coming today.
Thanks, Colin. Thank you. It was wonderful being part of the trust.
We have Mr. Rajiv Raturi, who's been with us. All of us know him a lot because he's been with Associated with them again for long. I think more than a decade, sir, who is also an activist with Disability Right. Thank you, sir, for joining us, Rajivji. We have Rachna on board with us, so a transgender activist, and who's a member with us for a couple of years, and she's worked in this line for a long time. Thank you, Rachna, for joining us.
Thank you all.
We have Ms. Kavita Mukhi, who is an environmentalist and a nutritionist, who has joined us. Thank you, ma'am, for joining and taking out time, because I remember you telling me that you're a little busy for today.
Yeah, I must say she's an old friend of ours. She has a farmer's market going on today. She's extraordinary on organic food and so on. So she's totally unique to our kind of group, but we will learn tremendously from whatever she has to tell us. But today she has an organic farming market going on in Bombay.
We have Miss Radhika Al-Qazi, who is the founding manager, trustee of ASTA organization. They've just joined. These are the new people who have joined us. Thank you for being with us, ASTA ma'am. And we have Ghazala Minai, who is an retired Director General of the OAG office. She's been, thank you, Ghazala, for being with us. I would request if we can start with Dharashil sir. Talk about, say a few words, please.
Yeah, what we'd like now is for each of the trustees to say a few words, whatever comes to their mind, and to greet all the, we have 100 persons online now. So we have about 21 offices, 22 offices with 21 coordinators. Arunachal Pradesh could not join because the internet services are down, because the examinations are going on, so they don't want the internet to be used for copying and so on. And we have about 100 out of our 130 lawyers and social activists in the country.
So may I start? I will introduce myself first.
Yes, sir.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir. Clear, loud and clear.
Thank you very much. Good morning to all of you. I am Justice Deepak Verma. I have retired from the Supreme Court of India, as Colin has told you. I know Colin for a long number of years, and then one day he came to me with a request that I should join his organization. He gave details of the organization. Before that also I knew about the organization, that how much social service it is doing, and especially for the downtrodden. So I was moved. I said, all right, I have no problem. And for almost, I think 7-8 years, I have been associated with the association. It is moving ahead and ahead, and step by step. And one day it is going to reach zenith. I have been to many tribal places with Colin earlier, when the things were normal, and we met so many people there. We met advocates also who were attending to our various works. It has been very nice and very remembered time that we have spent together. But now, of course, because of the COVID-19, it is not possible to go out. In fact, to be very honest with you, I have not moved out from my own flat for last 8 months. I am confined to my home only. I do all my arbitration opinion on my desktop, and my secretary comes. He dedicated secretary. He goes only to his home and back to my office. That's all. So this is how. Let's pray to God. This period should be over fast, so that we become, normal, as we have been doing earlier. Now, of course, but now this is the only new normal solution where we all of us can meet comfortably and quite distinctly. Thank you very much. Namaskar. All the best to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Dharashil sir.
Who's the next?
Dharashil sir, can you speak? Can you hear?
Can you hear Dharashil?
You're not audible, sir. Your microphone is. Hazel ma'am.
Dharashil, can you hear us? You're on mute, Dharashil. They have to unmute you. They have to unmute. You have to unmute. You have to put your mute button off. Yeah. Can you do that, please?
were talking to me.
Dhairyasheel has to unmute.
Okay. And you mean Hazel?
Ah, Hazel, okay.
No, no.
We
I'm
can
not
hear you,
really,
Hazel.
no, I'm not really waiting to talk. I'm just wanting to say, like others, that I'm very happy to be associated always with this organization. I don't know how long I can continue, but as I told Colin, as long as I can, I shall try my best and contribute. But I think that when you have a little younger people, I'll be happy maybe to withdraw, even though I appreciate much the work that I keep hearing of when I come to the meetings. And it is because of that great appreciation of the involvement of this organization and its contribution that I have been happy to do what little I could do. Okay, thank you. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, Hazel. We hope you recover from all the unfortunate health concerns that you had. And it's not little what you did, because you kept our organization moving. There were times where we were struggling to get in touch with authorities and so on. And behind the scene, we were really very stressed to see whether we could get things cleared and get things done. So your signatures and your involvement and your love and affection, we pulled through the year brilliantly, but it has been a difficult year, and you helped us overcome all those obstructions. It's just wonderful to have you. Thank you, Hazel. Dhairyasheel, I think, is ready now.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, Dhairyasheel.
Yeah. No, my association with the persons who are involved in the association is much older than the birth of the HRLN. We mooted the idea. I was one of them. That let us give it some little. I would not say twist, but little. Should I say something which would not only be conducting cases in the courts? No, that's very limited area. It has to be given a little theoretical. I would say in the arguments which we advance, or in the written the written treatments which we made. It's always, it has to be something, it has to be associated with the actual environment and actual things on the ground. And therefore we made really thing since I joined the organization. We have been doing this. We performed so many camps. We went to give lectures to, say, one in JNU, one in the University of Jammu and Kashmir. Then we undertook that public the People's Court. So these are new things for our organization. All this could come around because Colin and others really agreed with me, and we decided to introduce this new twist. You can say our opponents would say twist, but twist for the right cause. And since then, our organization has flourished, according to me. Justice Suresh was a great loss, which can't be so easily changed or replaced. We'll try to do that. And thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, because this has to go, because there are hardly any people who are actually they are on the back foot. Our organization was never on the back foot, and it's better that we put our right foot forward and proceed in the same manner in which we have been doing almost more than 4 decades during the last 4 decades. Yeah, I think about 4 decades. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dhairyasheel. And now that you have you're mastering this Zoom technology, I was telling you a little while ago, we will little exploit you a bit by asking you to continue with the lectures that you used to give our young lawyers, but now you can do it on Zoom.
It was such a pleasure, a great pleasure, you know. And Colin would sit on the back bench and would smile with his all teeth showing. that was a way to approve what we were telling. So that was a great thing. I think that this colleague of ours, but for him there is nothing really. So continue with the same, and you don't lose good health. That is the most important thing. For us, it is okay. Small little screws and bolts here and there are all right, but the main machine should continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Rajiv ji. Rajiv sir.
Saiba, who is it? Saiba?
Rajiv sir, if you could.
Rajiv Raturi, former head of the Disability Rights Unit of HRLN and now on the Board of Trustees.
हाँ सर ये फोन कर रहे हैं.
Rajiv sir, can you there?
Rajiv, where are you?
It's not connected. Radha ma'am, can we have you? Anuradha ma'am?
Anuradha is here.
Also is not here.
Anuradha, we'll call and ask them to rejoin.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Rachana.
Yes, I'm here. Can I?
Keep your video on if you can, okay? Because then people can see you.
Okay. Just want to say a few words. Like during the COVID also, like as previously Colin mentioned, that our trustees have been rigorously supportive and have been working on the ground and motivated our lawyers to file cases in various high courts. On this same row, I would like to mention that we have done 7 such cases for transgender people during COVID for claiming the COVID relief in various high courts. Almost all we got the positive orders, and even after the COVID also, we are doing the transgender cases. One now in Andhra Pradesh and one in Telangana is going on, and I'm very thankful to the HRLN to be having on the board and also dealing the transgender issues at the national level, where the state has been so regressive and repressive for regarding the transgender rights with their Hindutva oriented agenda. And thank you once again for all the lawyers and all the team of HRLN and all the trustees. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachana. A few words about Rachana. She heads the Transgender Rights Initiative, which is a new initiative of HRLN. And it's become a very vibrant and it's going to be a very important initiative, particularly after the judgment of the Supreme Court in the Nalsa case. So she is based out of Hyderabad, and we are restarting our office in Telangana. So it closed down after some of the advocates there were not able to continue, but we are restarting Telangana and we should have a lot of work happening in the southern states. Thank you, Rachana. Thank you for joining.
Kavita ma'am, can we have her? Kavita ma'am.
Sir, I'm back.
So, yeah.
Rajiv ji.
Rajiv.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great to be back with the network again. I spent 12 years with the network, and it's great to be back with everybody. Thank you for inviting me for the AGM. Would love to hear the kind of work that's been happening. Just wanted to inform you that the Human Rights Commission has issued advisories on all vulnerable groups. They're all on their website. Migrant workers, labor, women, children, health workers, and you could consider using these in your litigations. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Kavita ma'am, can we have, are you there?
Am I on?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
So Colin and I met Colin at the first natural farming conference in Maharashtra back in 1990. He may not even remember that. I've known him ever since. And the reason I said, yes, I would be part of this because I do not know anybody else besides Colin who works as he does, as all of you already know. I'm honored to be on this board of trustees, and I hope I will be able to do the best that I can for the citizens of our country. Thank you, Colin. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Kavita.
Thank you, Kavita ma'am. Can we have Ghazala ma'am, please? Can you hear us, Ghazala? Ma'am, can you hear us? Unmute, ma'am. Few words about your. Yeah, we can hear
Hello?
you. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good afternoon to everyone, and especially to Mr. Gonsalves. And I feel very privileged to be with you. And I basically have a background of political science. I did my MA in political science from Jawaharlal Nehru University, and also from Asian Institute of Management. And apart from that, I belong to the Audit and Accounts batch of 1985 and have done extensive tenures in the government and a lot in the social sector. So I'm very impressed with the work that you people are doing. And since the last 6 years, I mean, before I kind of superannuated, I was dealing with, at the national level, issues relating to senior citizens, drugs, alcoholism, and transgender persons. I can take credit for I know there are a lot of lawyers and they will not like it, but I can take the credit for taking the bill through in the parliament. And I also have worked on beggary, and I also did the national survey on alcoholism and drug abuse. So that is in my kitty, which I think at the moment I'm a consultant Department of Disability Affairs, trying to add some more meat into my agenda in life. And thank you much for having me. And I'm looking forward to if I can be of any use to you. But I'm certainly going to learn a lot from you all. Thank you so much, Mr. Gonsalves. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for agreeing to join. And I hope COVID goes away quickly so I can see you in person and interact with you in person.
Radhika ma'am, can we have you, please?
But I'm going to stay.
Radhika ma'am.
Yeah. So good afternoon. I'm Radhika Alkazi. Hi. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. So good afternoon again. Very nice to be here. It's a real privilege. Thank you, Colin, Seba, for having me on. I work in the area of disability. I started Astha about nearly 30 years ago now, working in the urban slums here in Delhi and in the northern states. I have been very interested in the law. I have worked with HRLN. Actually, we worked very closely over many years when Rajiv was there and Roma. So right from those times, in the Asha Kiran case, I've followed it carefully. I'm very, very happy to support in any way in the disability arena. During the COVID time, we've all been very, very active, and we have seen the great distress, particularly amongst children and people with disabilities in our country. A lot of hunger, a lot of families in distress right here in Delhi, right very close to us. And I think there is a lot of work to be done. So thank you for having me here, and I hope to be able to support in any way that is possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Radhika.
Thank you, ma'am. We will now take forward this, and we will invite our unit people, and just so that they can briefly tell us about their work. Usmita from Assam office.
Hello, actually I'm traveling. I'll tell my colleague Sauradeep. He will introduce our entire team members and he will tell about our work. Sauradeep.
Thank you, Dev.
Yes, ma'am. In Assam, our main office is in Guwahati. In the Guwahati office, we have 4 members and we have lawyers in 8 districts of Assam as well. We have 9 lawyers. So the Assam team's total strength is therefore 13 lawyers. In the last 1 year, that is in 2020, we have done 72 cases in the High Court and 5 cases in the trial court and tribunals, as well as we have done 1 case in the NGT. We have also sent 6 cases to the Supreme Court, and now we're looking to appoint 3 more lawyers and in 3 more districts of Assam. Our work during the pandemic did not stop at all, and we could get some good orders in a number of cases. We have our main area of litigation here now is in the citizenship issue. And in addition to that, we are working on labor rights as well as maternal and child health. Thank you.
Sauradeep, one of your major areas is that you're working in the foreigners' tribunals where people are threatened with deportation. You know that under CAA NRC, 500,000 Muslims are scheduled to be declared foreigners and deported, and you are working in those tribunals and releasing people, succeeding to have them declared citizens of India, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
That's the main thing.
Yes.
Who's next? Who's next? Try and focus in about 3 minutes on not so much the general aspects of the organization, but 1 or 2 striking cases that you all won.
Rakesh from Manipur, can we have?
Rakesh, please.
Yes. SRLN Manipur unit is coming to existence since 2004. And now the Manipur office is manned by 4 lawyers and 1 admin staff. Since our establishment in the state of Manipur, we have been mainly engaging in the cases pertaining to extrajudicial execution, enforced disappearance, and torture. Since there is an incident of low intensity armed conflict, so there are several instances of extrajudicial execution. So we filed several cases in favor of the victim's family. And recently in the year 2012, there was a PIL filed before the Supreme Court, and it was in case of pertaining to 1,520 incident of extrajudicial execution. So thereafter, after that, the incident of extrajudicial execution has become a complete halt. It was the main initiatives which we had taken. And during this year, during this COVID, we filed several PILs, and some of them relating to the providing PPE, personal protective equipment, to the frontline workers. And another PIL is pertaining to effective implementation of community quarantine center. So,
Rakesh, that should be enough for the time being. But
yes.
I think you highlighted your most important case, which is the fake encounter case involving thousands of people, and the judgment that you got from the Supreme Court, that was extraordinary. But most important in this, many people will not know that when the case started about 5, 6, 7 years ago, the killings were 500 a day in Manipur. And today it is?
Very nil. We can say nil.
Almost nil. So when people say, what is the effect of your litigation, you can see this huge effect.
Yes.
In terms of saving the lives of innocent people. Thank you, Rakesh. I can see your whole team is there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rakesh. Thank you. All your colleagues.
Can we have Kishore?
Good morning, everyone. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. In our Chhattisgarh office, we have 5 members. The main office is at Bilaspur, where we have Rajni, Amarnath Pandeji, and myself. And we have 2 regional district level offices. One is at Dantewada, and Kshitij is a member from there. And another, the third number office is at Raigad. Our friend Degree is looking after this office. So we are 5 members. So though we have done many cases on various human rights issues, but I want to discuss only 2-3 cases which are directly related to lives of tribals. In one case, some environment group approached the High Court saying that many persons are getting false forest rights title, and they are squatting on forest land. So there should be a check on all these activities. So High Court in a blanket ordered stayed the operation of Forest Rights Act. It said that forest rights title will not be issued during the pendency of this case. So we came to know about this case after this order, and several tribal right activists approached the High Court through us. And when we intervened in the matter, eventually the case was dismissed, and the petitioner, the environmental groups, were asked to go to Supreme Court because similar case was also pending in the Supreme Court. So that was a relief for many tribals because they were in the process of getting forest rights title, and all the process were halted. So this was the first case I wanted to discuss. Secondly, one case I want to discuss regarding the bauxite mining. There is a hill station called Main Part in Chhattisgarh. Main Part is the entire hill is full of bauxite in that area. So in the year 2007-8, 2-3 villages, the tribals had already granted forest rights title on the land, and their land had bauxite. So the government corporation, which is called Chhattisgarh Mineral Development Corporation, they wanted to carry out bauxite mining. But the problem was that this was private land, in the sense that forest right title was issued. So thereafter, what they did, they started cancelling the forest right title of all the individuals. Though under the act, once it has been issued, is final. There cannot be a challenge to that issuance of title. But the local administration cancelled all the forest right title, and they started mining. So we approached the High Court saying that this is all individual ownership land of forest dwellers. So High Court stayed the bauxite mining there. And there are many other cases of, in Chhattisgarh, there's a...
Kishore, we'll stop at these 2 cases.
Yes.
They're very, very, very good and very interesting cases. And the most important thing is you all were part of the struggle to stop Salva Judum, the Nandini Sundar, famous Nandini Sundar case, where the vigilantes were given guns and money by the government to kill people. And that was taken to Supreme Court, and you have Justice Reddy and Justice Nijja's terrific judgment. If any of you have not read the judgment, please read it. Nandini Sundar versus State of Chhattisgarh. Brilliant judgment, after which Salva Judum was closed down completely. And there is relative peace in Chhattisgarh today. So wherever human rights lawyers come in, it's not necessary that they create or foment trouble. In Manipur, the killings have dropped. In Chhattisgarh, Salva Judum has stopped. So good things happen when human rights people come in.
Thank you, everyone. I wanted to discuss more, but it was a positive time. Thank you again.
Thank you, Kishore. There is paucity of time, but you explained brilliantly the two cases, big cases that you all did.
Can we have Aditi from Bombay office?
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Aditi. I'm in Bombay office, and I'm here with my colleagues, Kaustubh, Niranjan, Rachita, Archana, and Minaz. So we are all here, and frankly, Bombay office has been one of the oldest. So most of the trustees here who have shared stories about, knowing Colin since before was actually in Bombay. So that is how old the Bombay office has been and existed. In the recent times, Bombay office in here, we were very quick in responding to the COVID situation. And we immediately went to the High Court and we filed a PIL regarding many aspects that we felt the government was falling short on a great extent. And from Bombay, we have done significant number of environmental cases. I'll speak of one, which is the biggest, which is the Coastal Road case, where there is a big environmental project and the government wants to proceed with it. And they have started construction without having any environmental clearance. That case now we have in Supreme Court. We fought that case for in a very lengthy and a very extensive litigation here in Bombay, and we got a positive judgment, which now is challenged in the Supreme Court. So we are defending that judgment. Other than that, we have a criminal team, and we do a lot of criminal work here. During the COVID time, there were some protesters, there were some union leaders who were protesting against, some of the policies that were harming migrant workers, and they were taken away. They were taken in detention. They were put in quarantine centers. So we filed habeas corpus petitions for one of them, and we got a positive order. We challenged the Mumbai police's order, which which gagged free speech here on social media specifically. We challenged that order as well. Even in terms of environment, there were public hearings being conducted here, all virtual, where fishermen have to come and where other stakeholders have to come who have barely any access to technology. And it was expected of them to be online and participate in these meetings virtually. So that was one of the aspects that we've challenged through litigation. And we got positive orders in all of these cases. So yeah, that's about from Bombay office. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Aditi.
Veena ma'am, can we have you please? Veena ma'am?
Please. Good afternoon. Please, Chandigarh office is working on various issues, including labor, women, children, disabled, and acid attack survivors. We have been having webinars regularly, two webinars in a month during the COVID period, and till date, we are continuing that. We are having the groups connected with us. The groups are from Dalit, disabled, etc., etc. So I am just to share three dimensions of the cases we have filed. We had filed number of cases prior to COVID situation pertaining to acid attack survivors. And few days prior to the lockdown, we had a meeting of acid attack survivors. In fact, the acid attack survivors whose cases we were having already. So those women were activated and those women came along with the other survivors. So 8 cases have been filed during 1 month, that is in the month of August only. All those cases are very, very old, but we were able to convince the court, since there is a welfare legislation involved, so the delay doesn't matter at all. So in all the cases, notice has been issued. So we are hopeful. And in one case on the second date only, enough compensation and medical reimbursement has been granted to the survivor. The second dimension which I would like to share, that is modification of the policy, because the policy provided only relief and rehabilitation to women. So in one case, there was a child, a male child. So we moved for modification of the policy, and in the state of Haryana, the policy has been modified Now, after our intervention, the children below the age of 18, they are entitled to get the benefit. That was the second. And then the policy was providing reimbursement only. Because of the poverty, because of the paucity of the funds, number of women, they were not able to spend money and then to get reimbursement. So we made a request to the court, since the state is to give the money later on, why not a prior situation? So now in every case, we were using that order by saying that the direction should be given to the state to coordinate with the hospital and to take the survivor to the hospital at its own expenses. So therefore, there is no reimbursement issue. That was the second. Secondly, we are working on the disability rights. Please.
We'll stop here at this stage because there's only a short time. But nice to see you again. I'm glad to see that you're well. And thank you for participating today.
Thank you, Kali.
Thank you, Veena ma'am. Just a little change. We have Advocate Gunjan from Delhi representing us because he has to attend another meeting. So I invite Gunjan to speak on. And Deepak, I'm sorry, it will be after you.
Thank you, Seba. Good afternoon, dear board members or all my friends from different units. As Aditi mentioned, Bombay remains one of the oldest office, but at present, Delhi office is, in terms of strength, I would like to say, is the biggest office. So not to say that it is somehow ahead of Bombay office on a lighter note. At present, Delhi office has three main divisions. One is a litigation team where predominantly lawyers file different cases, and in fact, a lot of cases with support of our different units who send us different cases from different high courts. And second is our refugee unit, which particularly focuses on refugee rights work in collaboration with UNHCR. And third is a new initiative which we have started, is Center for Constitutional Rights. So at present, there are three major divisions at HIRLN. And I would not take a lot of time because it is not possible to introduce each and every member in Delhi office, but there are at present 60 staff in Delhi, and out of which around there are 25 lawyers. And as you all know, that HIRLN has been very actively working on economic and social rights and civil and political rights over the years. But few recent examples I would like to give, which we are very proud of during the pandemic also, and even during the present time. And the most recent one, in fact, recent by a couple of days, where HIRLN filed a case for release of order challenging the High Court order, which directed prisoners to surrender during this COVID period. So by that order, there is a stay of that order that 3,000 prisoners will not have to now come back to jail. So that is one of the major case which HIRLN did, in fact, 2 days back. And the other one is on, the of a alt news journalist, which in fact got quite attention in media and across. And that was regarding a leading journalist who was being attacked by right-wing people. So that remains one of the major work during the COVID and at present at HIRLN Delhi. Thank you.
Thank you, Gunjan. Deepak from Bihar unit.
Good afternoon to all. At Bihar unit, we have here in Patna office, and we are 3 lawyers over here. Myself, Deepak, then Shashwat and Vishal. We 3 are working for since 1 year, we can say here, because this is a very new, fresh, we can say the whole team is here. And especially during COVID-19 pandemic, we have worked upon several kind of cases, and around 15 PIL we have filed during this COVID-19, be it for the labor rights, be it for the prisoners' right, housing rights, and be it for the food, availability of food and ration, midday meal and Anganwadi facilities. These all are the various cases that we have intervened into. But I would like to focus here upon two major cases where we have really worked very hard upon that. First, during CA and RC protest, where we have highlighted the brutality and the assault made by the police in Aurangabad district, where we have done the field visit, we have made a report, we have documented the whole incident, and we have filed a criminal PIL into the High Court, wherein we have also annexed the video of all the destruction made by the police and all the assaults were made. and testimonies were recorded, and that have also been filed in that petition. Secondly, we got good order into the transgender petition, where for the first time I can say in the whole country, in every district, the High Court has ordered that there will be a district facilitation center will be made for the transgender especially. And now this petition is focusing upon the full implementation of the NALSA judgment. So the third one, I can say the good order is upon the HIV/AIDS patient, where during this pandemic, non-availability of medicine was a big issue for the HIV/AIDS patient, and we have got a very good order where the High Court has said that telemedicine facilities should be available, and the doorstep facility of medicines will be available at this center. Apart from that, we have filed various petitions, though because of the lack of time, I cannot go ahead. But we have also filed upon the students' rights petition, where the university has hiked the fee during this COVID-19, and we have challenged that not to charge for that hike of fee during this COVID-19 especially. Apart from that, we have also involved in welfare activities, like during COVID, food relief activities. Then during flood, we have involved ourselves into relief activities also. So these are the small activities that I can share with you for the Bihar unit. Thank you all.
Thank you, Deepak. Ali from UP unit.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. This is HRL in Allahabad, and both of us, I, Advocate Devi, and Mr. Advocate Danish, are looking after the unit. 2020 has, in 2020, Uttar Pradesh has witnessed state repression both in form of brutality and court cases. Right from the beginning, Aligarh violence took place when students were brutally beaten up by the state machinery. Our unit, along with our fellow friends from the Delhi office, Aman and Fazal, all of us went on field, conducted fact-finding, and immediately mentioned the matter before the Allahabad High Court. And as an interim order, that was the first order which we got, was immediate relief to the injured student. Later on in the Aligarh matter, the NHRC investigation inquiry was ordered by the Chief Justice. Another set of matters which we primarily focused during 2020 was the CAA matters, where a number of peaceful protesters were targeted, and they were fake cases were registered against. We divided these matters into three heads. First were the writ petitions, wherein we prayed for independent SIT inquiries under the court monitoring. Second were the bail orders, which we secured for the innocent students, 17 years, 18 years, 21 years, 22 years students. Third one was the notices for recoveries, which were issued against random persons on the allegation that they disrupted the public property and they are supposed to compensate for the damages. The important thing which emerged out from all these cases were that, be it the bail matters or the notices matters, we were the first one to obtain remarkable orders from the High Court, and on the basis of those orders, hundreds and hundreds of people were benefited by several lawyers. They cited our orders and they secured these orders. Another important litigation which happened was the challenging of ordinance, the name and shame. The government decided to put up the posters of protesters on the prominent places of Uttar Pradesh. Immediately that ordinance was challenged before the Supreme Court by Collins sir, and subsequently the matter was referred to the High Court, and the matter is still pending. Last week only we got a wonderful order in housing right, which we say that as an interim measure, the Allahabad High Court said that it is the responsibility of the state to ensure that nobody be deprived of the right to shelter. And also the Allahabad High Court also directed that those people whose houses were demolished should be given alternate accommodation. They should also be given medical facilities, and they also directed the state to come up with a plan how they will relocate them and how will they rehabilitate them. During the COVID period, during the lockdown period, our office also also involved in practicing of distributing rations, and apart from that, we also did around 50 cases, including both criminal and civil litigation, including PILs. One of the important thing I would like to mention at the last is that when we say we were involved in criminal litigation, they were manifold. First, FIRs were lodged. We secured bails from the simple FIRs. After bails were secured, the state added serious sections like 302. Then we had to again go for seeking bail in those sections. Then the gangster and NSA, the National Security Act. So we were fighting on many fronts. And lastly, I would like to just inform that there is also a matter of police action where around 50 people were killed in 1989. We have recently filed that petition seeking reconstruction of Sessions Court record, as well as seeking independent investigation from the beginning. Thank you all.
Thank you,
Thank you, Ali.
Thank you, Dani.
Shah Faisal from Kashmir.
Good afternoon to all.
Shah Faisal, a little louder, please.
Good afternoon to everybody. This is Advocate Shah Faisal from Srinagar office. HRLN Srinagar office is doing work on custodial killing, torture, enforced disappearance, and we are also representing the detainees before the High Court. So I'll talk about a couple of cases which we had filed post August 4, 2019, after this Article 370 was abrogated. We filed nearly 5 habeas corpus petitions challenging the detention of minors mostly, some of whom were minors, and subsequently they were released by the government. During this year, post-COVID, we filed these petitions. We filed the public interest litigation before the High Court, and High Court issued a slew of directions, including the adequate water facility should be given to everyone. Standard laborers should be given food. Food should be distributed through public distribution system. Doctors and frontline workers should be given security and personal protection equipments. Besides that, I filed just a month back, I filed a bail application on behalf of a person who was arrested under Section 13 of UAPA. He was a minor, and after arguments were heard, he was released by this Juvenile Justice Board. I'm also representing this Rohingyas who have been detained under Public Safety Act. I challenged their detention before the High Court of Jammu, and the respondents, the state has not filed the reply in those cases. After filing the reply, this matter will be decided. One more case I filed in the month of February was the case of 84 families. Basically, the state government had constructed a road for the army, and for constructing that road, the land was acquired. The land of these villagers were acquired by the government in 2014. Since 2014, they have not been given any compensation. So I filed the writ petition on the behalf of families, and recently I came to know that government has accepted it, and nearly 32 crores will be released on behalf of these 84 families.
Thank you, Faisal. Very well done. I hope that money reaches the workers and so on. Thank you, Faisal. There's short of time, but thank you for all your work.
Thank you.
And sir, we filed nearly 10 bail applications during this COVID time, and we secured the bail orders for every this person.
Thank you, Faisal. Thank you.
Shanuji from MP.
Hello, everyone. I am Shanu Shubhta Khan from Madhya Pradesh unit. There are 3 advocates in Madhya Pradesh, myself, Amin and Swapnil. We have filed many cases like migrant, labor, transgender, housing rights, acid survivor, disabled person, HIV patient, women rights, Dalit and Adivasi rights, prisoner rights, etc. During in this pandemic, we have filed approximate 45 cases in High Court and District Courts, Madhya Pradesh. We have filed a PIL for migrant labor, which is 7,50,000 migrant worker came in Madhya Pradesh for finding work. Therefore, we have filed PIL for food, ration and employment, in which we got success, and the government has granted employment to 2,03,717 and 44,634 migrant workers got employment in Manrega. And per day food and grain were provided to 3 lakh families after filing of PIL. And other PIL, we have filed PIL for disabled person in Madhya Pradesh, and there was crisis of food and money. Therefore, after filing of PIL, they got financially assistance of rupees 20,41,084, received assistance to overcome lockdown to 79,700 disabled person. We have also filed PIL for transgender people in Madhya Pradesh. Around 29,597 transgender faces problem like food, pension and medicine. After filing of PIL, they have received all the amenities, and government has granted 4,33,72,000 rupees of transgender community, and 1,500 transgender received pension of rupees 500 per month after filing of PIL. We have filed PIL for Madhya Pradesh, MY Hospital, Indore, in which hospital got fire and the children ward was burned. Therefore, during the pendency of PIL, the court has ordered government to grant 1,68 crore for development of fire NOC. We have filed 7 petition for acid survivor, and they have received 30 lakh and free treatment. And also we have filed 30 cases for Adivasi and housing rights in this year. We have granted of 7 prisoners.
I know you've done so much work in Madhya Pradesh. Yeah, but listen, we really need to start our Jabalpur office. That is the little bit of a weakness. You're based in Indore, isn't it?
Yes.
So we want to expand to...
Madam Khan is at Indore.
She's at Indore, sir.
She's in
Oh,
yes, sir.
No, but actually, you must be knowing that principal seat of the High Court is at Indore is only a bench, and so we must have an office in Jabalpur, I believe.
Yes, sir. That's our endeavor. We're trying.
You need any help in Jabalpur, Colin?
So we'll need help, sir, to identify some young people.
I will suggest you few names who can be, posted there and who are there, stationed already in Jabalpur, and they can be of some help to us.
Yes, sir. We have one person in Indore, which is Shanu. Then we have one person where is
Amin is
in Gwalior.
Amin and Guna Swapnil.
Yeah, you'll see Swapnil on the screen, a young.
Yeah, I can.
He was very active in the COVID time, sir. So he's our up and there's Amin at.
He's also in Gwalior.
Also in
Gwalior.
Gwalior, yes. Good. Thank you, Shanu. Thank you. But like sir says, we should try now Jabalpur.
Surely. I will render all my possible help to you.
Thank you, sir.
Indrajit from Bengal.
Hello, everyone. Going to the inspiration which Sir gives us each and every day, and with guidance, we have been doing a lot of trafficking issues, SC/ST matters, disability, transgender issues, Rohingya cases, prisoners' rights, and criminal matters. We have done more than 80 cases in the High Court last year alone. The cases which I would like to highlight are Onkon Vishwas versus High Court at Calcutta, where the High Court was the respondent because they did not have the transgender column for the post of assistant registrar. The High Court has apologized to the petitioner. The next major case is a PIL for prisoners' right, Aparajita Bose versus State of West Bengal. We got relief for a lot of prisoners getting premature release. We've also managed to prevent 3,000 people from coming into custody. Thereafter, the mobile ban matter, Jaimeen Rajani, where the people were not allowed to use mobile phone in certain areas. We've also worked with SFLCs, where we have prevented the use of mobile bans in various areas. We've been getting interim orders. Atahur Rahman, we have been seeking for relief for the COVID people because not everybody can apply in a certain manner. We've also done issues with relating to the COVID non-implementations. We have done issues with regards to Rohingya and how they can be released. And also we are filing a lot of issues on disability. We have done fact findings and found that people are being locked up in cages in a naked condition because they are disabled. We have taken these issues to the Disability Commissioner and it is being dealt with very seriously. A lot of FIRs under the Transgender Protection Act has taken place. And we're trying to do a lot of serious work and it is going to the guidance which is provided to us that we're able to do it. Thank you, everyone. We have a good team with Ankan, Aparajita Di. Now we've got Shondikon, Kushal, and Aishwarya who's also joined us, thankfully, and we are able to do a lot of work. So it is because it's an honor to work for HRLN each and every day.
Thank you, Indrajit.
Thank you, Indrajit. Can we have Anup from Jharkhand, please?
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Anup, I am from Jharkhand and our head office is in Ranchi. In Ranchi, we are having 4 advocates and 1 activist. Myself, Anup, Raju, Mrilalani, Sonal, Parveen and Rasmi. We have our presence in districts also and we are having 23 advocates in districts and 5 activists. During last year, sir, we have filed around 150 individual cases, which consist of prisoners' right matter, domestic violence matter, trafficking matters, and labor rights matter. Apart from this, we have filed around 40 writ petitions, which includes PIL also in the Jharkhand High Court, and we have got some good orders also from the High Court. During last year, we have done around 10 fact-finding, 8 district level meeting, 3 student for human right meeting, and 1 state level meeting. Some of our important cases in which we have got the order from the Jharkhand High Court is during the COVID period, when the people are struggling for food. Then we have filed a petition, PIL in the High Court, and on the intervention of the Jharkhand High Court, the government had made a policy and make a provision for providing food for the people who do not have the ration card but who are eligible for getting the ration card. So due to our intervention, some of the people have got rations during COVID. We have also done our work and provided foods and provided help to the people during COVID. During COVID, we have filed a petition for disability community, and the government was having a scheme by which they used to provide pension to a disabled persons, but they were not getting pensions from last 2019. So due to our intervention, especially person suffering from thalassemia have got pensions during COVID. We have also filed a petition for a termination of pregnancy of a minor girl who was the victim of sexual harassment. And due to the intervention of the Jharkhand High Court, a medical team has been constituted who have treated her, and although medical team have said that it is not better to terminate her pregnancy because the pregnancy has reached to its advanced stage. So High Court had directed to give them a medical facility for around 6 months, and to her child also. She do not want to keep her child, so taking the help from the Juvenile Justice Act, we have surrendered the child before the Child Welfare Committee, and now she is getting rehabilitation with the help of DLS and with the help of the Jharkhand High Court. We have also filed a writ petition in the High Court during COVID. Dead body was being taken to one place to other place for their discrimination, and for that purpose, for the rights of dead body, we have filed a writ petition, and due to the intervention of High Court, a place has been fixed where the dead body could be cremated, and for their dead body management also a rule has been framed. So for that purpose, we have filed a writ petition, and we have got an order. Recently, in one of our district in Simdega, some CRPF personnel had tortured some of the villagers, and the police has not filed a proper FIR. So we have filed a writ petition in the High Court, and now the High Court is monitoring this matter and asked for a status report. So these are some of the cases which I wanted to highlight. Thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you, Anup. But did you mention the coal block allocation which the central government is doing? So in the tribal areas, the government of Jharkhand and the central government is proposing to set up coal mining in ecological sensitive areas and so on. So you must, this is the one of the, thank you, Anup. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Anup. Snigdha from Uttarakhand.
Good afternoon, everyone. Ma'am, am I clearly audible?
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Snigdha Tiwari from Uttarakhand. I'm currently practicing in High Court of Uttarakhand. And before starting to work as an advocate, I was very active as a social and environmental activist in Uttarakhand. And I'm associated with various movements that held in Uttarakhand. Currently, Uttarakhand unit has only one person and works under the guidance of the old people who were part of HRLN and are closely associated with the network today itself, and also under the guidance of Delhi office and other units of Uttarakhand across the nation. The three prominent orders and cases that Uttarakhand unit did during this COVID period starts from the first case when immediately the lockdown was declared. And there were more than thousands of Nepalese citizens who were stranded in the borders districts of Uttarakhand. So at that time and who were stranded without food, shelter, any sort of medical assistance. And at that time we moved to PIL in the High Court, and we managed to secure the facilities for Nepalese migrants who wanted to go back. And then we had to approach to Supreme Court for their repatriations because the High Court did not order for that, and there were many who wanted to go back to their homes, and we succeeded in doing that. Then there's this another most leading case that the unit did in High Court, which is again a PIL matter. In this, we filed a PIL regarding the condition of quarantine centers and for the migrant laborers who are coming back to Uttarakhand from other districts. So basically, these quarantine centers in Uttarakhand, all across Uttarakhand, especially in the remote areas, were in very poor condition. There were cases of snake bites and the migrants dying from snake bites and etc. So we filed a case asking for better quarantine facilities, for shelters for migrants and migrant laborers. We also asked for their medical care and commutation, especially for them to be transported from wherever they are coming to their homes. And we also asked for the allocation of funds to the Gram Sabhas. So we received many good orders, very good interim relief orders, and the PIL is still continuing because the COVID situation is not over. So we received there was a committee established by the High Court. Very recently, a committee was established by the High Court, which included all the petitioners, including and also the advocates, including us. And that committee has to give its suggestions. And yesterday, the case was listed. That is a very big leading case which is going in Uttarakhand, and we are part of it, and we are totally contributing in that. Then there's one more very good matter that we did, because we saw the repression by the state, like in Uttarakhand as well, especially against those people who were highlighting all the problems which the migrants were facing, which the poor people were facing. So there was this journalist who is a defender. He was reporting against the district administration, pointing out all the lacunas, and the district administration was going against the guidelines and and not providing commutation center or shelter or food to the migrants. So he was highlighting it, and an FIR was lodged against it. So we managed to file, receive a stay in arrest order for the defender. Apart from these cases, we are very actively working in providing trainings. We started the trainings like before COVID.
Snigdha, we'll stop at this stage. Thank you very much. You have a lot of work to report. But thanks very much, Snigdha.
Thank you, Snigdha. Can we have Neetu from Nagaland? Neetu.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you all. Yeah, Nagaland has currently 4 lawyers. 2 has been recruited this month. So that makes us Kikru, me, KV, and then Bhasia there. So during the COVID period, and then this year, we did some cases were involving on in cases like such as migrant workers, assault of youths in the quarantine centers, and then right to food cases, village roads connectivity, and then health cases. So apart from that, this year when the state was not prepared at all, then the COVID hit us. During that time, we found a move in PIL, and then there, as per the order, we got 2 BSL labs in the state, and then 1 BSL lab 3 in the state. Yes, so we have now true that in all the districts, and not only that, there has been a largest recruitment in the staff nurse ever as per because of the court's order we could obtain, and then more medical staffs has been recruited as per the court's order. And another thing, another case is that we could obtain relief for one HIV patient, HIV positive person was discredited for and denied medical treatment in a public health facility. So she was compensated through, through that case. And then also we had moved a petition on COVID cess imposed on petrol and diesel. And then there was a lot of commotion because of that case. But before the matter was disposed of, the government has revoked the notification, and now so there's no more COVID cess. So and apart from that, we're also working on midday meals, and then a number of fact findings have been created. We have also journeyed through a rough terrain, and then held meetings with the grassroots people, and then many other fact findings were conducted. Okay, so there's still so much to do. Thank you so much, Charlan, for giving us this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Neetu. Since Madan cannot join us from Arunachal Pradesh, I'll request Olivia to speak about some cases that we have been doing. She's heading a Northeast unit. I mean, she's actually looking after as a Northeast coordinator for us, and she's based in Delhi as a lawyer with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. First of all, take this opportunity to say, and we're really happy as a team. We're really happy to actually get to meet our board of directors today. We've heard so much about you, and today through Zoom, it is possible to meet all of you. We're very happy and humbled by your presence here today. The entire team has come together for this AGM. Thank you. Before I start a little bit about Arunachal, I'll start with Arunachal Pradesh so that you know. On behalf of Madan Mili is a young advocate who has joined the unit. There's a strength of 2 advocates in Arunachal Pradesh. With the recent trend in the Northeast overall, but with Arunachal, Arunachal Pradesh has about, they have filed about 19 PILs this year. These PILs are related to health, all health rights, ASHA workers, Anganwadis, right to food. And with the recent COVID relief petitions, these were relief to migrant workers on health, on the salary, on money assistance, financial assistance. And with the recent case in Dibang Valley, which is environment case, they are more. They have also they are sorry, I'm a little lost because yes, they're preparing a case for, they have actually drafted a case and they're ready to file a case on the police atrocity that happened in Arunachal Pradesh recently. Lost his life. They're filing this case. This is with regards to Arunachal. And I take this opportunity to speak about Northeast. Northeast recently, the litigation has picked up in the last 3 years. It is in Northeast, we have a string about 36 lawyers all over. We are glad to say that people are actually stepping up and coming forward to work for human rights, because it's been a little difficult with getting young recruits for working in the units. But yes, good people have joined us, and litigation has picked up. We are concentrating on environment. There's a lot of violation on environment without any environment clearance, with regards to dams, with regards to mining, with the recent case in Meghalaya, that is uranium mining. We are also looking into the possibility of helping the villagers on compensation because of the radiation that is happening in the state. Cleaning the rivers, deforestation, illegal mining, sand mining, health cases, food cases, right to food cases. Yes. And thank you, sir. I've been asked to, because of paucity of time, I cannot tell you more, but there's a lot more to say. Thank you so much for hearing us. Thank you.
Thank you, Olivia. Manisha हरियाणा से हमारे साथ हैं. मनीषा, अनम्यूट करिएगा मनीषा अपना.
जय भीम सभी को. मैं एडवोकेट मनीषा मशाल हरियाणा से, और ये मेरा बहुत सौभाग्य है कि आज मैं सब HRLN के इतने मतलब जो सीनियर पर्सन है, जो बोर्ड है, उनको मिलने का मौका मिला है. और मैं जो मेरा एक्सपीरियंस है विद इन मतलब इतने सालों का एक एक्टिविस्ट, और अभी मैं मतलब नए तौर से वकालत मैंने शुरू की है, तो मैं शेयर करूंगी. बेसिकली हरियाणा के हमारा जो ऑफिस है कुरुक्षेत्र में है, और हमारा एक जो मुख्य मतलब एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म है जो विक्टिम को, जो कि कोई काम नहीं करता, लाइक जो रेप विक्टिम है, जो हमारा जो बेसिकली काम है वो वायलेंस अगेंस्ट दलित वीमेन पे है. दलित महिलाओं के साथ जो रेप, गैंग रेप, मर्डर की जो घटनाएं हैं, और जो कास्ट जो एट्रोसिटी हो रही है, उसके बाद मतलब गैंग रेप और रेप के बाद जिन विक्टिम लड़कियों के मतलब उनके फैमिली के लोग रखने के लिए, उनको हीलिंग नहीं होता, फैमिली के लोग भी उनके साथ रहना नहीं चाहते, तो हम लोग हमारा जो सेफ हाउस है उसमें रखते हैं. और उसके बाद अभी ड्यूरिंग जो लॉकडाउन में हम लोगों ने 8 जो गैंग रेप और रेप के केस थे उनको फैक्ट फाइंडिंग किया. उसमें से एक ऐसा केस है जो कि नाबालिग बच्ची का रेप के दौरान बच्चा हुआ, और उसके बाद मतलब लॉकडाउन की सिचुएशन में किस तरीके से हमारा जो प्रशासन था वो फेलियर हो रहा था. वैसे तो हमारे पोक्सो एक्ट में रिहेबिलिटेशन स्कीम है, SC/ST एक्ट में रिहेबिलिटेशन स्कीम है, बट किस तरीके से एक जो रेप विक्टिम बच्ची है उसको ड्यूरिंग लॉकडाउन के टाइम पे सिविल हॉस्पिटल में जबरदस्ती हमारे जो प्रशासन के द्वारा रखा गया, उसके बाद हमें भी उनसे मिलने नहीं दिया गया. तो उस टाइम में हम उस रेप विक्टिम को अपने साथ में रखा और उनको एक मतलब हॉस्पिटल में रेगुलरली फॉलो किया. फिर जो प्रशासन जो था कंपनसेशन भी उनको इस टाइम पे नहीं दे रहा था, तो हमने जो हमारे जो नेटवर्किंग थे उससे कुछ क्राउड फंडिंग किया उन फैमिली को रहने के लिए, क्योंकि वो जो रेप जो आरोपी था वो उनके पड़ोस का ही था. और 3 मतलब जब ये 7 मंथ की प्रेगनेंसी थी तब लड़की को पता चला. 1 साल से वो व्यक्ति जो था प्रकाश 60 साल का आदमी 13 साल की बच्ची के साथ रेप कर रहा था, और उसको उसने कि अगर वो किसी को बताएगी कि उसके फैमिली को मार देंगे वो. तो इस तरीके से मतलब फिर अप्रैल मई में लॉकडाउन में ही ये बच्ची को बच्चा हुआ. फिर उस बच्चे को हमने अडॉप्शन दे दिया, और अभी उस बच्ची का जो है हम लोग मतलब एजुकेशन में उसको कंटिन्यूली उसका एडमिशन कराया. 10th में से उसने छोड़ दिया था, अभी उसके 10th के फॉर्म भरे हैं. और जो भी हमारे मतलब सेफ हाउस में जो बच्चियां आती है जो रेप विक्टिम्स है, जिनके लिए जिनके एजुकेशन के लिए जो प्रशासन भी है हमारा किस तरीके से फेलियर, उनकी एजुकेशन कंटिन्यूसली नहीं हो रही, तो अभी हमने इस साल में 5 जो रेप विक्टिम है उनके लॉ में एडमिशन कराए हैं. और इस लॉकडाउन के दौरान में हमने 15 ऐसे कॉलेजेस हैं जिनमें कि कास्ट क्या है और किस तरीके से कास्ट के वजह से, जैसे कि आप सब लोग जानते हैं जो हताश की जो इतनी बड़ी घटना है, इससे एकदम से पता चला है लोगों को कि रेप जो दलित लड़कियों पे किस तरीके से ब्रूटली रेप हो रहे हैं. बट ये आज की घटना नहीं थी, इस तरीके के बहुत सारे केसेस हमारे पास एक्सपीरियंस है, जो बहुत सारी दलित लड़कियों को गैंग रेप करके मर्डर कर दिया गया. और उसके बाद जो प्रशासन का जो मेन फेलियर है कि किस तरीके से जब हम कोर्ट में जाते हैं तो प्रशासन ये बोलता है कि ये उनके केस को विड्रॉ करने के लिए कि ये जो आरोप किया है उनके फैमिली को ही किसी को आरोपी बना देते हैं, ना कि जो अपर कास्ट लोग होते हैं उनको किस तरीके से मतलब कोर्ट से बाहर निकाल दिया जाता है. और अभी लॉकडाउन के दौरान एक दलित बस्ती पे अटैक कर दिया गया था और उसके बाद इसमें मेन एक्यूज जो था वो गांव का सरपंच था और उसके बाद पुलिस ने एफआईआर भी इस केस में नहीं करी थी। फिर हमने इसमें कंप्लेंट कराई और एक भी एक्यूज पर्सन को, क्योंकि गांव का खुद सरपंच था जिसने आरोप किया था दलित फैमिली पे अटैक करे तो उनको मार दिया था। फिर इस केस में हम लोगों ने अभी हाई कोर्ट में इस केस को डाला है। उनका जो बेल उनको डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट से मिल गया है उसको बेल के कैंसिलेशन के लिए।
मनीषा, थोड़ा समय कम है लेकिन बहुत काम है हरियाणा, बहुत काम है। And we run
हमारी ये बहुत बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी है सर कि हमने ना अभी 5 ईयर के लॉ में ना 5 विक्टिम लड़कियों का एडमिशन कराया। तो मैं बहुत खुश हूँ कि मतलब हम ही नहीं लॉयर, हमें जिन लोगों को जरूरत है उनको एजुकेशन में आने की जरूरत है और वो ही बदलाव कर सकते हैं सच में। तो
And to those of you who don't know, we run a refuge for Dalit victims of violence, mainly Dalit women who have been raped and so on. So we run a small refuge for victims of violence in Haryana. Thank you, Manish.
Thank you, Manisha. We have Omkar from Orissa.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Omkar Devdas, advocate from Odisha, and my colleagues over here are Sujata and Vibhu Prasad Chawal Singh. In Odisha, we have filed series of cases related to environment, Dalit rights, atrocities to minority communities, bonded laborers, interstate migrant labor cases. Then we have filed 100 cases regarding reproductive rights, and very good orders have been passed by the High Court. And in the meantime, the major where we have got very good order is in one matter is regarding land acquisition in Sundargarh district, where more than 300 tribal villages were being evicted. More than 300 families, tribal families were being evicted. That was stayed by the High Court. And another one is regarding transgender community, wherein the Gramin Dak Sevak post for was advertised by the central government postal department, which has been stayed because there was a clause in the advertisement that this transgender community should deposit their transgender certificate for being getting job in the Gramin Dak Sevak. That has been stayed. Those are the major cases where we have got good order. Thank you.
Thank you, Omkar. Thank you, Omkar. We have Govind Bhai from Gujarat office. He will talk about it. A little change. Pratik instead of Pratik, Govind Bhai will speak. Govind Bhai. Govind Bhai है?
गोविंद भाई अनम्यूट करो प्लीज।
हाँ हेलो
जी
हाँ, मेरा नाम गोविंद परमार है, मैं गुजरात से हूँ। गुजरात में हम 2 लॉयर हैं, एडवोकेट गोविंद परमार और प्रतीक रूपाला। ज्यादातर मैं बहुत कम टाइम है इसके लिए 2 केसेस की बात करूंगा। उन्ना गिर सोमनाथ डिस्ट्रिक्ट काकोलाली में एक दलित लड़के को जिंदा जला दिया था। वो केस में हमने 11 लोगों को लाइफ इम्प्लीमेंटेशन की सजा करवाई है और 6 लाख दंड। मतलब वो केस में बहुत बड़ा गुजरात में हमारे लिए अचीवमेंट था। और दूसरा एक केस अभी ऑन गोइंग है जिसमें हमने डे टू डे का ट्रायल का ऑर्डर करवाया है। वो मॉब लिंचिंग की घटना है, इसमें 43 एक्यूज थे। इसमें 6 लोगों को अभी 4 साल से जेल में है, एक का बेल हुआ है। उसके लिए हम हाईकोर्ट सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जा रहे हैं। तो ये जो 2 केसेस है गुजरात में वो हमारे लिए बहुत बड़े अचीवमेंट है। दूसरा कोविड-19 के दरमियान हमने 43 जो लेबर्स थे उनको हाईकोर्ट में से रिलीज करवाया, क्योंकि आंदोलन के दरमियान उनके गलत केसेस हुए थे। और ज्यादातर गुजरात में हम 2 एडवोकेट है और 100 से भी ज्यादा केसेस है हाईकोर्ट और लोअर कोर्ट में, वो फॉलोअप करते हैं। पिछले 1.5 साल में हमने 3 रेस्क्यू भी किए हैं। इसमें 112 लोगों को रेस्क्यू करके छुड़वाया है। तो ज्यादा ना कहते हुए यही कहूँगा कि गुजरात यूनिट में अहमदाबाद में ऑफिस है, उसमें हम ह्यूमन राइट वायोलेशन के जो भी केसेस आते हैं उसको फॉलो कर रहे हैं।
थैंक यू गोविंद भाई।
Govind Bhai. We have Mimma from Sikkim unit.
Namaste. Sikkim unit is based at Gangtok, and I've recently been joined by one new member, Dev Kumar. So we are 2 total now. And in Sikkim unit, in the past 1 year, we have actively worked with regard to Nepal migrant workers. Through our intervention, we were able to send them back to Nepal. And we have, through our intervention, we have even been able to give compensation to the POCSO victims. And we are also able to send one of the Bangladeshi migrant worker who was struck here in Sikkim and was charged with criminal case. And we through our intervention, within a period of 2 months, we were able to send him back to his country. And basically, Sikkim unit has been working largely on prison rights issues with regard to child, and especially with regard to POCSO. We are also working on a lot of environmental matters. We are closely working on sand mining and hydropower projects in Sikkim. And we, through our intervention, we were able to get an bail to one of the journalists who was largely covering the issues during the COVID time, and she was charged with criminal sections. So these are some of the contribution that we have done to the Sikkim unit. Thank you.
Thank you, Mingma.
Thank you, Mingma. We still don't have our representative from Tripura. I'll again request Olivia to talk about the cases we're doing in a quick thing.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. In Tripura, we have an advocate named Mintu Deparma. He's been with us for quite some time now. The main cases in Tripura are cases related to the brew. There are about 34,000 brew refugees in 6 refugee camps. Recently in October, we did visit these brew refugee camps, in which this was the 9th repatriation attempt against them. So we went to the brew camps. Advocates from here, there is Advocate Kabir, and along with the local advocate Mintu, went to these camps and tried to help make a fact finding and try move a petition before the Supreme Court for the relief of these brew camps. They did get their food, but there was no relief given to them. But with the recent attempts in the Supreme Court to get them land so that they can stay in these freely in these lands. Recently, with the recent development after the relief that was given to them in Supreme Court, we have a status report that says that land has been allotted to them, but yet they're still blocked in that land. They don't get any other relief. There's no food. There's no sanitation. There's no they're not allowed to utilize anything of the land. They're not allowed to build homes. There are no schools. So it's been a little difficult, and the movement is still going on. We're still making fact findings, going to the brew camps, getting reliefs for them. So that is the main case that is happening main work that we're doing in the Tripura unit. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Olivia. We have Agnes from Meghalaya. She's an activist, and she'll just talk about the cases we're doing there. Agnes, you there?
Yeah. You can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. In Meghalaya, good afternoon all. In Meghalaya, we have many issues, and in Meghalaya recently, we work in a major case. We filed a petition in the Meghalaya Human Rights Commission on deaths of 877 newborn infants in Meghalaya and maternal deaths of 61 deaths. Hello. And on the 8th of October, the commission has passed an order to the government and the social welfare and health services to report within 30 days to the MHRC. We are also, in regard to this, the human, I stammer a bit, I hope you won't mind. Government of Meghalaya, there was a lack of medical attention care, pneumonia, and birth birth asphyxia, and the death of most of the pregnant women was that they were not admitted in the hospital or healthcare center for institutional delivery. So having seen the petition, the commission has taken deeply concern with the matter, which raised serious issues of violation of human rights as Article 21 of the Constitution, and they have given orders that they should reply within 30 days. And another issue that we take up is on the mining, especially on coal, wherein Supreme Court and NGT has orders has been violated by the state, and it is rampantly still illegal rat hole mining is carrying on. Thank you.
Thank you, Agnes. We have Advocate Rosalind from Mizoram. She's there?
Yes, I'm here. Am I audible?
Yes, Rosalind.
This is Rosalind Elmar from Mizoram. Good evening, afternoon, Sarkolin, and all other trustees and other units. I'm alone out here in Mizoram, but I have two juniors working along with me, and very recently, 3 of other juniors have joined our chamber. I was appointed this year on March 2020, and during our COVID, we have filed 2 PIL cases, one for the stranded youth, and with our PIL, we could get back around 800, 500 stranded youths. Then another PIL was filed for all Mizoram Mexicab, interstate and intrastate sumos, but that PIL is still pending. Other than that, we have done submitted 16 representations during the month of August until date. And these representations mainly is because, filed for prisoners, for the blind, human trafficking. Then these representations have been filed to the governor, also chief secretary, 11 district commissioners in the 11 districts. Then very recently we have a land dispute problem between Assam and Mizoram. We have filed a representation for this, and yesterday a petition was filed to Supreme Court by one of my very dear friend. His name is Cho Kuma, and he has been held by Mr. Ram Jetmalini, and we hope to get a news from the Supreme Court very soon. Other than that, we are concentrating on environment, roads, corruption, transport, health. Those are our pending representations so far. Thank you.
So you're muted. Thank you, Rosalind.
Thank you. We've come to the end of our coordinator speaking. We want to ask one last person, Praveer Peter. Praveer, are you there? Praveer, are you there?
Praveer from Jharkhand.
Praveer is a senior person in Jharkhand who has just joined the unit, and we wanted him to say a few words if he can come on. We'll give him a minute. He was here just now.
He's on a phone.
He's on?
Yes.
Praveer?
Praveer.
No, sir. आवाज नहीं आ रही आपकी.
Okay, doesn't matter. So this brings us to the end of this meeting. This meeting had a very specific focus. Many of our young people had not met our board of trustees, and it was important for them to get a sense of the organization as a whole. because the COVID period fragmented us in a sense. We were not able to do physical meetings. During the COVID period, normally, we would have done at least 3 national level meetings and a number of state level meetings. But because of COVID, that was not possible. I think we realized what we set out to do. We managed to get everyone together. There were about 107 participants from all the units. And all our coordinators were here except for 1 or 2. And our trustees were also here. So thank you all for coming in. And would any of our trustees like to say anything further? Any further comments from anybody? Our trustees first, and anybody else would like to make a comment? And then we'll end this annual general meeting.
Nothing from me. It was a pleasure to hear everyone giving the details of the matters which they have done or which they are likely to do. And please continue with the same vigor, with the same strength, with the same zeal. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I want to add that I'm now in Jammu and Kashmir, traveling in Jammu and Kashmir. I may meet Faisal soon.
Rachna, you're not audible. A little louder. Little louder.
Am I audible?
Yes, Rachna.
I'm saying now I'm in Himachal Pradesh and I'm just traveling in Jammu and Kashmir. I may meet Faisal very soon in Srinagar. And I may give him some report on LGBT issues here because I came across various things during COVID, how transgender people going through, particularly in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. And soon we may file few petitions from Jammu and Kashmir. That's it.
Right.
That's it. Thank you.
Very nice, Rachna. And also remember, we're looking to hire perhaps 1 or 2 young but very active lawyers in Kashmir. Please keep that in mind also. Shanti is saying something?
Yes, sir.
Shanti, do you want to say something? Shanti, you have to unmute.
Sir,
Shanti is our old friend from Uttarakhand. We did a fantastic petition together on the austerities of the Tehri Dam. And
मैंने आज सर आपको आमंत्रित करने के लिए मैं जुड़ा हूं। आपने जो टेहरी का पिटीशन फाइल किया था सुप्रीम कोर्ट में, जिसमें हमें बड़ी विक्ट्री मिली थी, वो 9 नवंबर 2000 को उत्तराखंड का स्थापना दिवस आ रहा है। उस दिन देश के प्रधानमंत्री डोबरा चाटी पुल का उद्घाटन कर रहे हैं, जिस पुल को लिए आपने सुप्रीम कोर्ट में केस जीता था। आपकी वजह से वो पुल बन चुका है। 440 मीटर लंबा पुल 42 वर्ग किलोमीटर की झील के ऊपर, उसका उद्घाटन 9 नवंबर को होने जा रहा है। मैं आपको किन शब्दों में धन्यवाद दूं, मेरे पास शब्द नहीं है सर। मैं आपको आमंत्रित भी करना चाहता हूं, आप जरूर उत्तराखंड आइए, उस पुल को जरूर देखिए, जो पुल आपकी मेहनत से बना है, आपके 14 साल की अथक मेहनत से। 2004 से और 2014 तक हम लोग सुप्रीम कोर्ट में रहे, टिहरी डैम के विस्थापितों के संदर्भ में, और टिहरी डैम की जो व्यवस्थाएं थी, बिजली, पानी, विस्थापन की जो समस्याएं थी, पुलों की, ड्रिंकिंग स्कीम, उन सब को लेके आपने 51 अंतरिम आदेश हमें दिलाए। मैं सैल्यूट करता हूं सर, और आप जरूर टिहरी आइए सर उस पुल को देखने के लिए। एक PIL सर हमारा ऑनरेबल हाई कोर्ट में पेंडिंग है 2013 में, जो आपके मार्गदर्शन में हमने स्वास्थ्य सिस्टम को लेके फाइल किया था गर्भवती महिलाओं के लिए। अभी इसी हफ्ते सर चीफ जस्टिस साहब ने उसको फिर से हियरिंग में ले लिया है अपने पास सर, और कहा है कि हम हर महीने इस पिटीशन को सुनेंगे। और अभी कोविड का भी एक पिटीशन चल रहा है सर, उसमें उत्तराखंड में कल चीफ जस्टिस साहब ने दिन भर ऐसे ही VC से 13 की 13 जिलों को सुना है, और 13 जिलों में मॉनिटरिंग कमेटियां बनी है, जिसमें बार के प्रेसिडेंट हैं, DM है और DLSA के सेक्रेटरी हैं सर। सबको सुना है, मॉनिटरिंग कमेटियां बनाई गई हैं, उस पर भी काम चल रहा है सर। थैंक यू सर। सर आपको टिहरी आना है जरूर।
थैंक यू शांति, जरूर आऊंगा, लेकिन आप भी कोशिश करना दिल्ली आना और जरा मिलना। दोबारा हमारा जो संपर्क है उसको थोड़ा मजबूत करना है।
जरूर सर, आऊंगा सर। सर आपका आशीर्वाद चाहिए सर हमेशा के लिए। आता हूं सर।
So thank you everybody. Thank you sir for joining us, Justice Verma. Your words have been very encouraging for all our young lawyers today. And thank you all. It's been a small, but it's a very good meeting where we've all come together and met with our trustees once again. Thank you all.
So this has become new normal.
This has become the new normal. Thank you all. And
take care, sir. Take care. Bye.
Yes.
Thank you. Dhareshil,
And have a good Sunday, everybody.
Yeah.
Dhareshil also, we are very happy to see you. And Dhareshil, are you there or has he left?
Not there.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. A lot of thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.